The following radio program is sponsored by Kellogg's Fishmonger's Crunch. Boy, do you like your cereal to taste like fish? Well, I'm the fishmonger, and I've got a cereal for you, I does. It's got lots of fish in it, you see, and crunchy nuts as well. We got prawns too, brought to you by Kellogg's, innit? Oi, it's me, the fishmonger. Welcome to Biff's Mystery Theater. I have many tales to tell you. Ghost stories, murder stories, and tales that will make your bones chill. Join me, won't you? Every Sunday night for Theater of the Mind, where you always have the best seat in the house. And now for tonight's tale. Now close your eyes and turn off the lights.
You are together in a room, you and the one you love, the objects of an experiment, while the man who has dared you to undergo his test is waiting for the moment when you break, and in your defeat, find that there is no escape.
Listen now as Escape brings you Stephen Vincent Benet's unusual story, Elementals.
I sometimes think of it. Not often, because it's too frightening. But just sometimes. It's a thing that you'd never believe could have happened. But it did. When I look across the room at Kathy, I remember that time not too long ago. The night it started. That was the real beginning. It was a slow night. I kept cruising around looking for a fare and thinking. Driving a cab hadn't been too bad. But there was Kathy. We were engaged, wanted to be married, and money was a pretty big problem. Then I saw the two men standing under the marquee of the Broadway Theater. Now that was something more practical to think about. A fare.
Eastwood Club, 40th Street.
Yes, sir.
Well, Gaines, what did you think of the play?
I found it very moving.
Did you really? Sentimental dribble. May I quote for you? When it comes to the invisible power that rules life itself, we find that it is, as always, love. The love of a man for a woman.
Well, what's so funny about that, Slate?
It's not funny, it's pathetic. Love. It comes in a poor last in running the inhabitants of this planet, I can assure you.
Well, what do you think comes in first?
The elementals. Fear, hunger, and hate.
Oh, I don't believe that.
You can't face it, you mean?
Nonsense.
Logic should tell you that I know what I'm talking about. The greatest accomplishments, all of the world's progress is in one way or another brought about through hate, struggle, killing. Certainly not love.
You're wrong. Men do more for what they love and believe in.
Oh, don't be naive. Love. Why, there aren't a pair of lovers in the world that I couldn't turn against each other. Well, I'll go further. I could take the most devoted couple and have them gouging each other's eyes out in a week. And I wouldn't touch them.
You honestly think
I honestly know. Of course, it would have to be an average man and woman. Him, for example.
Who?
Cabby,
Yes, sir?
have you heard what we've been talking about?
Yes, sir.
Well, what do you think?
I'm sorry, it's against the company regulations to get in arguments with the
The
customer.
devil with regulations. I assume you've got a mind. What do you think? Am I right?
No, sir, you're not.
You're in love?
Yes.
Undying, perfect love?
We're happy with it.
And you think I couldn't part you?
No.
Would you like to make a bet on that?
No?
They're gains, you see.
I don't see
It's
anything.
obvious the man says he's in love, but he won't gamble on it. He knows I'm right.
I think you're nuts, sir. And this is the Eastwood Club. I'll say this for him. He gave me a buck tip. And I'll say something else for him. He didn't belong in this century. That's what I told Kathy when I got off. And then we forgot about it. Until one evening a week later when I got a call at the garage.
Mr. Davis Latimer.
Speaking.
How do you do, Mr. Latimer? This is John Slake. You do remember. You drove me to the Eastwood Club last week. We had a slight discussion about love.
Yeah, I remember all right. How did you get my name?
I took the trouble of noting down your cab number and checking with your company.
I see. Well, what can I do for you, Mr. Slake? I'm on my way out to work and
Well,
I...
Mr. Latimer, I shall come immediately to the point then. I'm a rich man, Latimer, and I'd like to make you an offer. One you won't wish to turn down.
What kind of an offer?
Well, I'd rather discuss that in person. Will Sunday afternoon be convenient?
What kind of an offer?
Oh, you're suspicious, Mr. Latimer.
Yeah, that's right.
Very well. My offer has to do with money. Money for you. A good deal of it. And I assure you that you will have to do nothing which will in any way compromise your high moral principles.
Look, mister, this is your idea of...
I'm extremely serious. If you will call at my house on Sunday afternoon, you will find it to your advantage. However, there is one point. I wish you to bring your young lady with you.
I don't know.
Think it over, Mr. Latimer. I'm sure you're a sensible man, and believe me, my offer is no joke. My address is 490 Park. You will think it over, won't you?
I'll talk to her about it.
Good, good. I look forward to seeing you both on Sunday. Now, Miss Vane, Mr. Latimer, to business. My offer. Did he speak of it to you, Miss Vane?
Yes.
Well, excellent. And what was your opinion of my theories?
Are you married, Mr. Slake?
No. Oh, no.
Then you wouldn't understand. You're wrong.
Good, good. You share your fiancé's views that nothing could come between you. At least not I.
No, I don't think you could.
Would you both be willing to test my theory? Let us say, pit your love against one of my brute elementals.
What kind of test?
A test by hunger. Hunger, Mr. Latimer.
That's your offer?
Only part of it. The part that I feel might interest you is the remuneration. There will be a certified check of $10,000 waiting for you if your love proves stronger than my hunger.
How do we prove that?
You will be without food of any kind for 10 days. At the end of that time, a piece of bread will be thrown between you. If you're still in love with each other, you'll of course share the bread between you. If, however, you're in the grips of my elemental, hunger, you'll fight over the stale crust like two beasts.
That's silly. We wouldn't. No two people in love would. That's what love is.
Well, perhaps you're right, but I'd like to be convinced.
Look, are you serious about this? $10,000 for going hungry for 10 days?
Oh, why not? I'm being generous. I'm offering you $10,000 to back up your own statements. And I'll even cut the time down from 10 days to 7.
No, I don't plan to starve Kathy or myself to prove anything to you.
Oh, forget about me. You can use the $10,000. Otherwise, you wouldn't be driving a cab. You and Miss Vane could be married immediately instead of penny-pinching your way through years of endless drudgery to save up enough money.
Yeah. Thanks for the drinks, Mr. Slake. We'll be going.
No, wait a minute. He's right, David.
What do you mean he's right?
He is. We haven't got anything to lose. $10,000. And if that's all we have to do...
I give you my word.
Why not? We love each other, don't we?
Well, sure we do,
all
but...
right. Let's do it.
Look, I'd have to quit my job.
I'll make it up to you, Mr. Latimer. I'll double your salary. Triple it, even if you lose our wager.
Oh, Kathy, you...
Yes. I'm not afraid.
Okay. You're on, Mr. Slake. During the next few days, it was all arranged. The experiment was to run from Monday through Sunday midnight. Kathy and I were put in a large room in the upper story of Slake's mansion. We were always visible through large glass doors. There was an iron cot and mattress at each end of the room, a table, some chairs, and that was about all. At 12:01 Monday morning to the minute, Slake came in to issue his last instructions as our 7 days of starvation began.
I have provided you with sanitary facilities on all the running water you want. However, I'm afraid you must do without soap or toothpaste. Unfortunately, they are edible. My apologies, Miss Vane. Lipstick and rouge are also forbidden for the same reason.
What about reading? Books, magazines?
I'm afraid not. You would find the pages too tasty to resist as time passed. The same applies for pencil and paper. Any other questions?
No, I guess not.
Very well. You understand that no matter how you beg, plead, scream, or cry out, you will not be given food for the next 168 hours. Is that clear?
Yeah, it's clear.
Well, I wish you luck, then.
The first day was easy enough. We talked about old friends, made plans for our future, played word games, anything to pass the time. We even made jokes about food. The hunger pangs didn't come until the middle of the second day. They came in suddenly with the sharpness of iron teeth, biting hard into your stomach and letting go, and then biting again. Both of us felt it.
Are you all right, Dave?
Yeah, you?
Oh, of course. You're not sorry we started this thing?
No, of course not. $10,000, I can take it for a week if you can.
A week? That's not long, is it? Besides, it's only 6 days now.
As the day wore on, the hunger pains grew worse. The iron teeth jabbed into my stomach harder and harder. And in between, all I could think of was food. Winter breakfast in the country, hotcakes, golden, puffy, a huge warm pile of them browned in yellow syrup. Roast beef, thick slices, real thick and rare. Then that evening, Slake, who was always there watching behind the glass doors, stopped in on us. He seemed to read my mind.
Everything perfectly all right, I suppose, Mr. Latimer? Miss Vane?
Yeah, everything is fine, Mr. Slake.
Ah, charming. You are admirable guests indeed. You make so little demands on one's hospitality. You know, I wished for you at dinner this evening. I really wished for you.
Did you, Mr. Slake?
Yes. The bisque had a trifle too much whipped cream for my taste, but the fish... the fish was perfection. Baked bluefish, you know. And the roast...
Cut it out!
Oh? Oh, forgive me. I didn't realize my elemental had already begun to touch you.
Don't worry. You're not going to win.
Well, perhaps not. But a similar test was attempted in the 16th century by a Prince Alessandro on a devoted couple in his court. The results were most interesting.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Yes, really. They tore at each other's flesh. Tangled themselves into such a horrible knot that Alessandro's men could hardly get them apart. That's how strong their love was, Mr. Latimer.
On the third day, the hunger pangs were no longer sharp jabs. Now it was a constant, violent, gnawing, nibbling feeling inside. There was a pulling ache deep in my head as if someone were jerking my brain from its socket with an ice hook. And I know she was feeling just as badly. We tried to talk to each other, but we'd already said everything there was to say 5 times over. She tried to cheer me up, but her voice suddenly had a whine to it that was driving me out of my mind. Everything was driving me mad. I couldn't think straight anymore.
Dave?
What?
Tell me about that time you ran away from home.
You've heard it 100 times.
I'd like to hear it again.
You're a liar.
Dave, don't.
Shut up.
Well, we've got to do something, Davey. I thought if we... Look, why don't we count the bluebirds on the wallpaper? You know, I found a new way of counting them. If I start from the side, I can get 22 bluebirds to each wall instead of 21.
I don't want to count bluebirds.
You must.
Stop whining.
I know. Mark off the room. That's fun.
I've marked it off 1,000,000 times. 1,000,000 times. You want to know the figures?
Yes. Tell me the figures.
40 shoe feet long, 30 shoe feet wide, 43 bare feet by 31.5 bare feet, 126 fists by 97 fists, 1,213 thumbs by 931 thumbs. Are you satisfied?
That was wonderful, Davy.
What was wonderful about it?
I'm trying my best, Davy. I'm just trying.
Stop trying. I'll hit you. I swear I'll hit you.
You think I'm not hungry, too?
I hope you're starving. You did this to me. It's your fault. I'd never be here if you didn't stick your face into it. Starve. Go on.
I hate you. You're horrible.
Get off that chair and over to the cot, because if you don't, I'm going to smash your face.
Good evening.
What do you want?
I trust everything's all right.
No, everything's not all right, you fat pig.
I thought I detected signs of gathering violence.
Why don't you get out? Go on, get out.
I could never forgive myself if anything should happen to the young lady.
I don't need your help, Mr. Slake. I can take care of myself.
I'm afraid not.
You heard her. She doesn't want you here. Now get out.
But Miss Vane doesn't appreciate the power of an elemental. It can easily turn the man she fancies she's in love with into a murderer. That's why I believe I'll sit down and stay a while. Oh, Jacques? Jacques.
Oui, monsieur.
Duty calls. I'm afraid I'll be forced to dine in here.
Eh bien, monsieur. And what is it that monsieur desires this evening?
I don't know. I think an American cuisine for tonight. Let me see. We can start off with shrimp cocktail, but be sure it's surrounded with plenty of cracked ice. Next, I'd like soup, clam chowder. Rich, thick clam chowder.
It will be as you order, monsieur.
And for my entree, steak. A thick, juicy steak, quite rare, seasoned with garlic and smothered in onions. Well, Mr. Latimer, I must say you're handling yourself very well. All right, Jacques, I'll order the dessert later. You may go.
Monsieur?
I didn't look at her. I didn't care. Both of us were pretending we didn't see, we didn't hear. I don't know why. Slake sat with us smiling. Nobody said anything. I watched Jacques leave and come back a while later with a tray bulging with food. I felt myself shivering at the sight of it. But I still didn't say anything. I waited until Jacques set the tray down on the table in front of Slake.
Oh, the steak is tender tonight, monsieur.
Excellent, excellent. I find myself with quite a vigorous appetite. Oh, don't go yet, Jacques. I may need you.
Slake put his fork into the thick white meat of a shrimp, streaming with red sauce. That's when I jumped out of it.
Get away! Get away, animal! I suspected you were up to something, Latimer.
I want the food. I've got to have it. Slake, I'm not taking anymore. I can't. I'm not going to go.
Stay back. Stay back, I warn you.
No, I'm hungry. I'm hungry.
Stay back! Now, one more step and I won't miss, Mr. Latimer.
You dirty, stinking.
Really? I'm not as bad as all that. I even considered giving you a bite to eat before.
Lying.
But I'm not. Would you like that, Latimer?
Don't mean it.
I assure you I do. Of course, I don't appreciate being attacked and then vilified by a torrent of insults.
No, I lost my head, Mr. Slake. Yes, I did. You're a really clever man, Mr. Slake. You're very clever. I'm sorry. I'm
Just a taste, that's all. Just a taste. I don't remember how long I cried. When I stopped, my mind was all right again. For a minute, anyway. I saw Kathy lying in the other cot at the far end of the room. She was sobbing. It was a sad sound. I remembered what I'd done. I hobbled over to her cot. Kathy.
Don't hurt me. Please don't hurt me.
I don't want to hurt you, darling.
You're not angry, Dave?
I didn't know what I was saying before. I can't be angry with you, darling. I love you.
Dave. I'm sorry. I'm hungry.
That night it was worse than ever. It was a nauseous, heavy hunger that nagged, wouldn't let go. I drank gallons of water. I poured the useless, flimsy stuff down my throat until I choked, but I got no relief. None at all. Morning finally came. That was worse yet. The dizziness set in. I tried to get up. The floor kept falling away. I had rubber legs. I found myself getting angry at a crease in the carpet at my untied shoelace. I managed to get to one of the chairs in the center of the room. I can't tell you what for. Then I saw Kathy coming toward me, crawling on all fours.
Dave?
Yes. What is it?
Help me up. I want to sit on the chair.
All right. You made me fall!
I'm sorry.
Sorry! What good does that do? Stay away from me. Why don't you stay away? Dave!
Stop!
Cry! Go ahead, cry. You're ugly. You're ugly.
No.
You're ugly. Your hair's like a streaky, dirty old mop. Dirty old mop. I hate you. It's all your fault.
No. Don't talk to me that way
Go
now.
away. Get away from me. I can't stand the sight of you. You make me sick. Get away. Go
I
away.
hope you starve to death. Hear me? I hope you starve. Starve. Die.
I lost all track of time. May have been 5 days, 6. I don't know. I heard strange sounds that were part of me but seemed to come from outside as well. I also remember crawling. There was a squawking voice that came from my chest but didn't sound like me, that kept talking to itself. I'll have more cream. Yes, sugar too. And potato, please. Lots of potato. French fried. No. Lamb chops today, steak tomorrow. Bacon, well done. I'm hungry.
You ought to be horsewhipped for this, Slake.
I don't want any sermons, Gaines. Now you're ready to witness the test.
Yes. Let's get it over with, for heaven's sakes.
All right. Now watch. All right, get up. There, between you. The food is there on the floor. Get up!
I saw it. The bread on the floor. A tiny dot, far out in space. Painfully, I slid down from the couch. On all fours, I slowly pushed forward. I noticed a woman on the other side of the room, lying on her cot staring at me and at the bread. She tried to get up, but couldn't. I wondered who the strange, skinny woman was. I finally reached the bread. I touched it shyly. It was soft. I shivered as my hand closed around.
Dave.
The woman again.
Dave.
I wondered whose name she was calling.
Dave.
Didn't really matter, though. I picked up the slice of bread and sniffed it.
Darling, did you hear me, darling? Kathy?
I started to put the bread clumsily into my mouth.
Darling? I'm so hungry.
That was Kathy. Catherine, the girl I was going to marry. And she was hungry. That's all there was to it. I started across the miles of carpet. Bread. You ate it.
You first. You're hungrier.
No. I love you. It's for you. I love you.
Gaines, get them out of here. Give them the money and get them out of here. Hurry up! And get these babies out of my sight.
Would you like to win a brand new 1954 high-style Plymouth convertible? Well, then be sure to enter the big Plymouth contest that starts this Thursday. $25,000 in prizes, including 6 new 54 Plymouths and hundreds of cash prizes. Your Plymouth dealer can give you an entry blank next Thursday. You'll see it contains a complete list of the prizes and the easy rules. But don't put it off, because the contest closes midnight, Monday, October 19th. So how about a big red circle on the calendar around this coming Thursday? That's the day to see the new 54 Plymouth and enter the big contest. Is it a date?
It's big, the 54 Plymouth. It's bright, the 54 Plymouth. Big, bright, beautiful too. The 54 Plymouth is a car for you.
Under the direction of Anthony Ellis, Escape has brought you Elementals, a story by Stephen Vincent Benet, adapted for radio by Meyer Dolinsky, starring Tony Barrett as Dave Latimer, William Conrad as John Slake, and Georgia Ellis as Catherine Vane. Featured in the cast were Ben Wright and Byron Kane. The special music for Escape was composed and conducted by Rex Corey. This is Roy Rowan speaking.
You were trapped in the native quarter of Mozambique. 2 dead men at your feet, the police closing in on you. And beside you, a sultry girl who offers you escape.
Escape, produced and directed by William N. Robeson, and carefully contrived to free you from the 4 walls of today for a half hour of high adventure.
Tonight we escape to Portuguese East Africa, to the fetid alleys and dangerous rooftops of Mozambique, in the highly incredible yet somehow thoroughly plausible adventure by Percival Gibbon, entitled The Second Class Passenger.
That's me, Ronald A. Dawson, second-class passenger. Oh, I could have afforded first class by pinching a little here and there, but nobody back at Ralston's department store in Cedar Rapids will ever know. The important thing is they're saying Ronald Dawson in drapery is taking a cruise around the world. And then there's really very little difference in the accommodations. And the second-class passengers are every bit as interesting as the first-class crowd. Take Miss Patterson, for instance. You'd look far to find a more charming, likable, altogether desirable young lady. Just the life of the party. We'd gotten to be quite good friends by the time our cruise put in at Mozambique. Although the competition was always stiff, I can tell you. There were times I wish those other 2, Jones and Twitchell, had missed the boat somewhere along the line.
Still a good couple of hours before we sail.
How about a ride in one of these native carriages, Miss Patterson?
Oh, dear, do you think they'd be clean?
Personally, I doubt it.
Although I don't know as I should care too much now. That woozo made me so woozy.
Great stuff, Uzo. It would take a Greek to think up a drink like that.
Or to drink it.
Por favor, senor. American gentlemen like to buy pictures.
No.
Very interesting pictures. Take a look.
Oh? No. Go away.
You know, we might do the fort, though. The guidebook says it's the main point of interest. Now, let's see. Built by the Portuguese in 1600.
Oh, dear, never mind the statistics. I dare say the fort would be as dreary as the rest of the place.
Oh, yes. Mozambique's not at all like what you would imagine Mozambique to be like.
No.
Well, it's a one-horse town, all right. Main street and a couple of alleys.
Oh, and it's so dirty. You know, you'd think they'd do something about it in this day and age.
I'd like to buy fine knife.
No.
Field Point. Look, all fine work. Him belong to big Tanganyika chief.
I said no.
Maybe someday wanna need fine sharp knife.
No. Now get out. What did I need a knife for?
To protect yourself from the savage natives, old man.
All you'd have to do is call a policeman. He isn't doing anything else. You see him? Look at him out in the center of the street directing traffic like he was at the corner of State and Madison.
And the traffic consists of 2 donkeys and an ox cart.
Yeah.
It will be a relief to get back on board ship and have a nice hot bath.
Yes, and real American food instead of that greasy fried octopus we had for lunch at that Greek place.
Oh, my, weren't they awful?
That's part of the broadening experience of travel.
Yes, I suppose so. Like that cute idol that I bought. I can't wait to show that to the girls at the bank. You know, oh, dear, Mr. Dawson.
Yes, Miss Patterson?
Where's my idol?
Why, I thought Jones had it, or Twitchell.
Oh, not me, old man.
Well, you insisted on carrying it for Miss Patterson, don't you remember?
Oh, dear, I must have left it back at the Greek restaurant. I'm so sorry.
Oh, I did so want that idol. Don't you think you could go back for it, Mr. Dawson?
Well, yes, of course. But I wonder if I'll have time before the boat sails.
Oh, I'm sure you will if you hurry.
Certainly, old man. You got more than an hour yet.
You're sure?
Oh, yes. The steward told me.
Well, then I'll go at once.
Oh, that's kind of you, my dear Mr. Dawson. Now, mind you don't miss the boat.
Well, I'll try not to. Why, chances are I'll catch up with you before you've reached the landing stage.
Fine. We'll wait for you till the very last minute.
I could have throttled that supercilious Jones insisting I had time. I knew there was time, but I had no desire to run off after a heavy bronze curio and leave Jones and Twitchell alone with Miss Patterson. She was too nice a person, and, they were such dreadful bores. Yes, and I suspected them of being phonies, too. But there was no helping it now, so I made my way back up the main street toward Lazarus' restaurant, where we'd had our indigestible Greek lunch. Somehow, this main street of Mozambique looked different now in the quick African twilight. The little saloons and the sidewalks were filling with men of every nationality and color. Many of them wore knives thrust through the belts of their thin white suits. Knives that looked as sharp as the glances they threw at me. I must confess, I felt a little strange and unwanted. Then, lounging toward me in the crowd, I saw a large woman, clad in a sort of burnous, but her brown face unveiled. She had very wide lips, and they were painted scarlet. And from the corner of her mouth, she dangled a cigarette. Her eyes were heavily mascaraed, and when she looked down at me, terror seized me. I was afraid she would speak to me. I didn't know what I should do or say, but she didn't. Instead, she laughed. And the way the loiterers responded, I was convinced that they were laughing with her at me. I must say I was relieved to reach the entrance of Lazarus' restaurant.
Good evening, sir. A little dinner for the gentlemen?
No, thank you. As a matter of fact, I just lunched here today. Very good. Excellent meal.
Thank you, sir.
I left a curio here, probably under the table. Have you found it?
A curio?
Yes, some sort of a brass god. It was wrapped in newspaper.
Oh, yes. We got him right here for you.
Oh, that's good. That's fine. I'm in a hurry to get back to the boat.
Yes, you better hurry. Pretty soon she rains.
Rain? Why, there's not a cloud in the sky.
You see, every night she rains in Mozambique.
Well, you ought to know, but I still doubt it. Oh, here. Buy yourself a cigar.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. You hurry quick before she rains.
Don't worry about me. I'm not made of sugar, you know. In just the few moments I'd been inside the restaurant, night had fallen. That sudden nightfall of the tropics. I looked overhead and clearly saw the stars. Thinking what a bad weather forecaster the Greek was, I tucked Miss Patterson's silly bronze idol under my arm and started off for the waterfront. I hadn't gone 200 yards when a large, warm drop of rain splattered on the back of my neck. Then 2 more on my hat. And before I could take cover under an arch, it was raining like Iowa in April. It didn't look like it would let up soon, and I wondered if there might not be a shorter way to the waterfront than the long walk down the main street and then the long way to the left along the docks. Surely one of these alleys that turned off to the left would lead me directly to the harbor and the landing stage. So I left the protection of the archway and turned into the alley at my left. 4 steps from the main street, and I was engulfed in darkness, wading through filth and mud over my ankles. But I was certain that I was on the right track, so I walked on and ran straight into a blank wall. I turned to retrace my steps, but I could see no lights anywhere. I felt along the wall until it gave into another alley, followed it to another blank wall, and thence into another one. And now I knew I was lost. And now it began to rain in earnest. It pelted, it stamped, it whipped, it stung, it flashed. In a moment, I was drenched to the skin. If it was dark before, it was now black as a tomb. I struggled onward because it was too terrible to stand still and feel myself being beaten to the earth by the sheer weight of the rain. I don't know how far I walked through those foul and fetid passageways, nor for how long. But at last, feeling my way around a corner, I saw a slit of light, a horizontal flicker beckoning beneath the door, and I heard voices. I lifted the bronze idol and rapped on the door with it, and the voices stopped.
What do you want?
I've lost my way. I'm wet through, and I don't know where I am. Please let me in. Please, let me in.
Of course you may come in. You aren't exactly who we expected, but come in. Come in.
I walked into a room that was unfurnished, save for a littered table and some chairs, and a gaudy picture of the Virgin that hung on the wall. On each side of it was a sconce, in which a slovenly candle guttered. A woman was perched on the corner of the table, a heavy shawl over her head. Under it, the dark face, propped in the fork of her hand, glowed sullenly, and her bare white arm was like a menacing thing. In a chair near her, a grossly fat man was huddled, scowling heavily under thick, fair brows, while the other man, he who had opened the door, stood smiling. The woman laughed softly and pointed to the image dangling in my hand.
What is that?
I beg your pardon?
That parcel you are carrying.
Parcel? Oh, it's a curio, an idol of some sort. A friend of mine left it at the restaurant this afternoon.
And you are a tourist from the cruise boat?
Yes, that's right. How did you know?
What are you doing here so late and so wet? The boat sails soon.
I know. I was trying to take a shortcut to the landing stage. I got lost somehow. I came ashore with some friends from second class. I left them to come back and fetch this idol, and here I am.
Give the young man a chair, Egon.
Oh, thank you very much. But I must go on as soon as the rain stops. If you can direct me to...
It will not stop for a while yet. You may as well wait here.
Yes. We may be able to provide some entertainment for our second-class tourist. As soon as your friends arrive, my dear.
Friends? The police are not my friends.
You led them to us?
Would you walk about with your knives forever, while I take all the risks?
Risks? Huh.
7 months you have done what you willed, untouched. I bought you freedom for 7 months, with smiles and love. Now you take your turn. One uses a knife, one goes to prison. 1 month, 3 months, 6 months. Who knows?
You could have talked with the prefect of police again.
Again and again. And for what? Life is not spending money. One pays for living, my friend, with work. Sometimes with jail. I have paid. Now is your turn.
You could have helped us once more. Only once more and we could have been out of this sewer and on the coast to Lorenzo Marx or Cape Town.
Why didn't you? Why didn't you help us once more?
Yes, why?
Always you say once more, once more. Now there is no more.
You are a sheep pig, a defiled and debauched
I
daughter.
beg your pardon, sir.
What?
That's no way to speak to a lady.
What?
I'm serious. I don't like to hear such language used to a lady. I must ask you to apologize.
What the devil have you got to do with this?
You just came in out of the rain from the second class.
Please, please, don't fight with him. There's trouble enough already.
But what the devil right has he got to come in here and tell me?
Yesterday you stabbed the Egyptian.
What of it?
Don't stab this one. You want the police to find you here with a corpse?
A corpse?
What does it matter how the police find us? We wait for them because we have no choice. You put them on us. We should do away with you.
Why do you lie? Even to yourself. Why must you hide your own blame behind my skirts? Great Mother of Heaven, you are neither man nor beast. You are just...
Don't go on. Don't you dare say it.
There. You are just a Salmak.
No one says that to me and Cliff.
He's got a knife.
Salmak! Salmak!
I'll tell
No, you don't. Stand back or I'll brain you with this idol.
You'll do what? You think I carry only a knife?
Pig! Dog, I waited for this! He forgot. I carry a knife.
Oh. Look what I did to him with this bronze idol. Horrible. Horrible.
It makes a good weapon, your idol. It was a grand blow. A king's blow. You cannot help him now.
I've killed a man with this little curio. And you've killed another with your knife. 2 men murdered. Oh, I must get back to the ship. You must come with me.
To the ship? Oh, la la. You think I'd be welcome in the second class?
Well, I don't know.
But we must go somewhere. The police will be here any minute.
The police?
Yes. Come. He's not raining so hard now. Quiet. It's the police.
Oh.
They have come for those 2. They will be on both sides of us. Here, hold my hand.
Yes.
Stand perfectly still. I will tell you when it's safe to move. Now. They are all around us so they won't hear us. Come, now.
Where are we going?
We are escaping. But if you know from what we are escaping, you would not care where. Hurry. Hang on to my hand. And hurry. They have found the bodies. Now they are after us.
What will we do?
There is a door nearby. We must find it. Or here, feel along the wall. Here. Father. It must be here.
Yes, here it is.
Push it in.
It won't budge. It's bolted from inside.
You must push it in. It's the only way.
Here, hold this idol for me.
I have it.
Now. Not yet.
Hit it again.
It's giving.
Once more. Good. My friend, my great, strong friend. Up the stairs now, quickly.
Where are we going now?
To the roof. Wait.
Huh?
The rain has stopped.
Yes. The stars are coming out.
There is your ship out in the harbor.
I must get to it.
Listen. You hear them? We are not safe yet. Over the wall to the next roof. Hurry. Now, over to the next parapet.
Up you go. Are you all right?
Come up quietly.
Yes. What's that down there? A tent?
Yes. People are asleep. You must walk like a rat.
Who are they?
Who knows? If they see us, they will think you have come after the women.
Oh, but we could say...
There would be nothing to say. Shh. Someone's crawling out of the tent.
A man with a sheet wrapped around him. He's coming this way.
Yes.
Why doesn't he see us?
His eyes are clouded with sleep, perhaps.
If he sees us?
It will be too late.
Then he won't. There. And there. Well, that took the fight out of him.
Take this, my little knife. Just a prick, and he is quite safe.
Oh, no, he's still enough now. He won't harm us. I really did him in, didn't I?
It was splendid. With only the bare hands to take an armed man.
Armed? I didn't know he was armed.
Of course. Of that you may always be sure. Look, there in his loincloth.
A dagger. At least 6 inches.
Yes. You are truly magnificent, my friend. You are a man.
You are a woman.
Then?
Wonderful woman.
I was wondering when you would kiss me. When you took offense at what the Russian said to me, I knew you would. But I wondered how soon.
Yes, I suppose I knew too, in a way. At least I thought how much I'd like to... But I wouldn't have had the courage before all this, I suppose.
Courage. Your courage is of the lion. Your strength is of the great bull of Swahili.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I wonder if we're far from the landing stage now. I mustn't miss my boat, you know.
You want to go back to the second class?
Well, naturally. That's what I was trying to do when I knocked on your door. Goodness, I've missed my dinner as it is.
Missed your dinner? Yes, that is so. But haven't you gained something else?
What?
Me. Look. Look at me. Is it nothing, friend, that you have saved me for yourself?
Yeah, but...
You conquer men as though you were bred on the roofs of Mozambique. You fight like a hero. A rush, a blow, a tumble, and you had them lying at your feet. Are you not glad that it was all for this? For me? Oh, kiss me.
I'd fight. I'd fight for you as long as there was anyone to fight.
You would. I know you would.
You lead on.
Where?
Wherever you will.
Come.
Of course, I don't expect you to believe this. Looking back, I'm still unsure it really happened to me. It's as though I dreamed it. Well, I don't know how many roofs we crossed after that. A dozen, perhaps. Maybe 20. It was mad, I know, but I must have surrendered completely to the wild spirit of the African coast. I didn't seem to see the great ship lying out in the harbor, her lights blinking with the comforts of civilization. All my senses were focused on this slim, breathtaking figure leading me across the rooftops to a shadowy destination in which only one thing was certain. She would be there. I suppose in that moment, armed only with the bloody bronze idol, I was invincible. At last, she led me down a creaking wooden stair that hung precariously on the sheer side of a house. And once more, we were in the mud of a gloomy alley. Even the way she slid her arm along mine and softly grasped my hand filled me with greater power than I had ever known. Hand in hand, we made our way down the alley and out into a little square where a night breeze rustled in the palms and smelled of the sea. And across the way, a dim light showed through a big open door.
The little church of San Sebastian.
Oh.
Onde pensa que você vai?
The police.
After all this?
Não tenta escapar.
O quê? É que você quer comigo?
Eu tenho ordem de prendê-la.
Por quê? Eu não fiz nada.
Veremos. Me acompanhe agora.
Vamos. Vamos, capitão. Devia haver outra maneira de resolver isto.
Esta vez não pega mal. Você está presa.
What's the matter with him? What's he want?
He says he won't let me go.
The devil he won't. What's he want you for?
Oh, my friend. These little policemen, they always arrest me when they get a chance. It is tiresome.
Está bem. Deixe de conversar e me acompanhe.
Listen, copper. Scram, see? Take it on the lamb. Take a powder.
Calle-se. Do contrário, será preso também.
I said scram.
Run! Run before he can get to his feet. No, not that way. Into the church. The sanctuary. My magnificent one. You fear no one. You fight for me. So long as there is anyone to fight.
Yes.
Now there will always be someone to fight. They will never leave us alone.
Will they follow us in here?
These police might do anything. But I know one door they will not dare follow us through.
What is that?
Come, this way. Here, this door. First, I must wrap my skirts close. Now, come cleanly through the middle. Please do not rub the walls as you come. There. We are safe for a while. They will not follow us through that door.
Why not?
It was the door of the lepers.
The door of the...
It is all right. We didn't touch the portals. See? Down the alley are the lights of the waterfront.
Yes. Oh, where do we go now?
We have a little time now to breathe the clean air of the harbor. And then I know a little place where someone is coming. Step back in the shadow until they have passed.
It certainly was something to write home about.
Listen.
What is it?
I wonder what's happened to good old Dawson. Oh, drenched.
Oh, dear, I do hope he's found my idol.
The idol. I must return the idol.
No, don't. My friend, this is the greatest danger of all.
Goodbye.
Don't go. Magnificent one. Don't go.
I must. Goodbye. Hello there.
Here's Mr. Dawson.
Got here before you, it appears.
Yes. Did you find the idol?
Yes, but for a moment there, I was afraid I should miss the boat.
Oh, I say, old man, you're a bit disheveled.
Yes, I got caught in the rain.
And my idol. Oh, Mr. Dawson, you've got it all dirty.
Yes, it is a bit mussed. I dropped it once or twice, I fear.
Well, I think that was clumsy of you.
Oh, nothing. A little soap and water won't put to rights, I dare say.
Well, maybe. Well, we'd better hurry along. I'd hate to have to spend any more time in this dreadful place.
Oh, so should I.
Yes. There's the whistle. Now, that's the last warning, no doubt. Well, come on. Come on, everybody.
That's coming. Now, Dawson, don't stand there mooning. We'll miss the boat.
Yes. Yes, in just a moment.
Say, is there someone standing there in the shadow of the alley?
I'm not sure. I thought for a
That's
moment...
funny. I could have sworn I saw you wave goodbye to someone.
Perhaps I did. Goodbye to Mozambique, to adventure and romance.
Oh, that's good. That's very good. Adventure, romance, in this pest hole?
Twitchell, what would you say if I told you I had just killed a man, fled over the rooftops of the city, made love to a beautiful woman, fought the police, escaped through the leper's gate...
Oh, great heavens, Dawson. I'd say you had the wildest imagination I'd ever heard of. Nothing like that ever happens to a second-class passenger.
No. No, I suppose you're right. Nothing like that ever happens to a second-class passenger. Except in dreams. Come on, Twitchell. We'll miss the boat.
Escape, produced and directed by William N. Robeson, has tonight brought you The Second Class Passenger by Percival Gibbon, adapted for radio by Mr. Robeson, with Harry Bartell as Dawson, Jeanette Nolan as the woman, and Kathy Lewis as Miss Patterson. Original music conceived and conducted by Cy Fury.
Escape, designed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure.
High on the frozen slopes of a great mountain, terrified and caught in a blizzard, while the thing for which you've been hunting has suddenly become the hunter. And if it finds you, then for you and your companions, there can be no escape.
So listen now as Escape brings you Anthony Ellis's exciting story, The Abominable Snowman.
Our first bit of luck was when we hired our Sherpa guide, Nasang. That was in Darjeeling. When I told Nasang what we were after, he hesitated for a moment. And then he said,
"The Sahibs have not come to climb Shomolungma?"
"Oh, no, we're a little late for that. It's already been done. The other two Sahibs and myself are here for the reason I told you."
Meto Kangmi?
That's right.
The Sahibs always hire me to climb the mountain with them, but never this.
Are you afraid of them?
I have seen one.
You've seen one?
Yes, many of us have seen them.
Wait a minute. Alan.
Yeah. What's that?
I'm interviewing a Sherpa in here. He says he's seen one of the things.
Hey.
Where's Frank?
Went out to get some tobacco.
Oh, all right, come on in. I think this is our man.
All right.
Nasang, this is Mr. Ferris.
Sahib?
Hello, Nasang.
Nasang was telling me about what he'd seen. Go ahead, Nasang.
It has a face that is evil. And when it saw me, it uttered a strange cry and bounded away. Sometimes leaping, sometimes running with great strides. It was dusk, and after a moment I lost sight of it in the snow.
Where were you?
With the French expedition. It was at 19,000 feet on Shomolungma.
How far were you from it?
30 feet, perhaps 35.
You're sure it wasn't an ape?
I am sure. There is no ape in the Himalaya to make such a track.
What about bears?
This too I have been asked. But does a bear walk always upon its hind legs?
Well, that's enough for me. Alan?
Yeah, he'll do.
Yeah. But if you want the job, Nasang, you're hired.
You are going to try to capture a Yeti?
Yes.
It will be a difficult thing, but I will serve with you.
Yeti, Wild Man, Netokangmi, Abominable Snowman. That's the name the natives had for the things, and Alan Ferris, Frank Davis, and I were going to try to get one. We'd all done some climbing, but climbing was secondary here. Expeditions since the beginning of the 20th century had heard of the Abominable Snowman, observed their tracks, and one or two white men claimed to have seen them. Great ape, bear, monkey, wild men, we didn't know, but we were going to find out. Four weeks later, we were in the Rongbuk Valley for our interview at the monastery with the Lama. The journey from our base had been uneventful, the weather was good, and our spirits were high. From the Lama's window, we could see the great peak of Everest in the distance.
Why, gentlemen, do you desire to capture Netokangmi?
Because, sir, we believe it will be an invaluable aid in our prehistoric research. That is, if these things are in any way human.
And for this reason, then, you have formed the expedition?
Yes.
You are all familiar with climbing?
Yes, we are.
You would need to be. The Yeti move at high places, dangerous places, so my people tell me. Also, the monsoons are arriving in a short time.
I understand that. Then do we have your permission to investigate in the valley and beyond?
You have my permission.
Oh, thank you.
Appreciate it. There is one point, however. I must request that no wild animal or being in this valley be shot. Our religion does not allow it.
We'll respect your wishes, sir. Now, may I ask you one more thing?
Of course, my son.
Do you believe in the existence of Netokangmi?
I myself have never seen them, but I know that they live here, above the valley, on the goddess mother of the world. It is also true that at least 5, and possibly more, inhabit the upper Rongbuk and its glaciers.
Thank you.
Do you have porters?
Our guide Nasang is hiring them now.
Yeah. I trust that he meets with good fortune.
The old man, with great dignity, bowed slightly to us, and we were dismissed. But I thought I saw the shadow of a smile on his lips as he turned away. And it wasn't long before I found out why. Nasang returned to us in our quarters, and his face warned of bad news.
Sab, I am unable to hire any porters.
Why not?
They know the purpose of the expedition. They will not go.
Why?
They are afraid.
Of the snowman?
Yes. They live in peace with them. They wish no trouble. They are afraid.
Well, all right. It'll be rough, but we can't waste time talking them into it. The monsoons will be coming in a couple of weeks. It's not the same as climbing Everest. We'll travel light, just the four of us, set up a base and start hunting. All right with you, fellows?
Yeah, sure.
Nasang?
I will go with you. I am not afraid.
Good. Well, let's take a look at the map. Now, we'll each carry a capacity load. We should be able to make this point below the glacier in 2 days. That's 16,000 feet. And if our abominable snowmen are in the vicinity, we've got 2 weeks to find them.
When do we start?
Tomorrow.
Good.
Well, that's it.
Paul?
Yes, Frank?
One thing. What do the natives mean when they say they don't want any trouble with the things?
Superstition, probably.
Oh, no, Sab. It is not superstition. It is because the Yeti are cannibals. That is why the porters are afraid.
The weather turned ugly the day we left the village. A cold Tibetan wind blew down from the west, and with our heavy packs, it took us much longer than we'd thought to arrive at the point just below the Rongbuk Glacier. We set up our camp and made ourselves as comfortable as we could. The next morning wasn't so bad. There was a heavy overcast, a promise of snow, and the peak of Everest looming over us was shrouded in clouds. The four of us sat in the tent looking at our charts and drinking hot tea.
I figured it'd be easiest if we started at the East Glacier. It's only about 3 miles from here, and with the weather as stinking as it is, we won't run too much of a risk. What do you think, Paul?
Well, that sounds all right. What do you say we split up? You and Nasang, Alan and me. We'll work up on either side of the ridge, here. And if we spot any tracks, fire 2 shots.
Yeah, good enough.
Now, the big thing, though, no matter what, don't shoot at the thing if you do see it. Okay?
Okay.
All right. If we lose touch with each other, we'll meet back here at 5. All right, let's get going. We'd left the base at 6 that morning, and the going was rough. Alan was pretty well shot by the time we got to the 17,000-foot mark. He was having a tough time breathing, and the wind had come up again. And with it, a fine, powdery snow that blinded and choked us.
Hey, I gotta take 5.
All right. Here, move over here. Might cut some of the wind.
Oh, that's better.
Oh, we might as well start back for the base. We couldn't see anything in this anyhow.
You know, right now, I don't care whether we do or not.
This is good weather. Wait until the monsoons start.
No, not me. Oh, I'm cold. I've never been so cold in all my life.
We stayed in the half shelter of an overhang for 10 minutes, and the wind was quieter and the snow had let up. I noticed that the tracks we'd made coming into the shelter were gone now, but we didn't have any worry finding our way back. I figured that Frank and Nasang had met pretty much the same thing on their side of the ridge, and we'd meet them at the base. So Alan and I picked ourselves up and started off.
Boy, I thought I was in pretty good shape, but up here, boy, I'm nothing. Paul, I'm tired again.
We'll just take it easy going down. You haven't got frostbite, have you?
No, not yet, but...
What?
The left there.
Yeah.
They're not our tracks, are they?
Not unless you took your boots off on the way up.
Must have just passed by. It must have seen us.
Yeah. Come on. We were looking at a set of tracks newly made in the fresh snow. And they'd passed so close to our shelter that the thing must have known we were there. They weren't the tracks of a bear or an ape, but more like a splay-footed, naked foot. The tracks of the Abominable Snowman.
We will return to Escape in just a moment, but first, 30 million school children make their way back to class this year. There are just 10 million too many for existing school facilities. Contact Better Schools, 2 West 45th Street, New York 19, for information on ending this menace to America's educational standards. And now, back to Escape.
We began to follow the tracks, and for a while, perhaps 150 yards, it was easy. And then the thing made a leftward traverse down a deep slope. We could see the prints clearly, angling with a sidestep, as sure-footed as a mountain goat, except that it was walking on 2 legs.
This way, Paul.
Take it easy, Alan.
It's getting steeper. Boy, that thing sure can climb.
Hold up. Alan.
I think
And he dropped out of sight over the lip of the crevasse. We weren't roped together. I got as close as I dared to the edge. The loose snow crumbled away from my outstretched body. And I looked down into the blue-black darkness below, falling away into nothingness. He was gone. Finished. All I could think of was the noise he'd made when he went over. Surprised, angry, then silence. The crevasse might have been 500 feet. Or 5,000. Snow started to fall again. Big flakes this time and wet. I stood up. And across the gap 20 feet away, I saw the tracks of the thing, continuing on and away until they became lost in the blank whiteness of the glacier. It had jumped and landed still upright on the opposite side. I went back to the base. And an hour later, Frank and Nassang returned. I told them. And we were quiet for a long time. Then...
Paul, are we going out again tomorrow?
Why not?
I just wanted to.
We should go back. It is an omen.
I tell you, he was going too fast. He didn't have a chance to see the crevasse. That's not an omen, it's bad sense.
Metokangmi cannot be caught.
We'll catch him.
But there are only 3 of us. If we had a few more men...
I tell you, the thing was so close that if we'd looked up at the right time, we'd have seen it. You think I'm going to give up now? Next time we'll get it.
There was no chance to get Alan out, huh?
No.
You think if we went back...
Listen, you think I don't want to? He's gone. I tried, but he's gone.
Okay. Okay. Wish that wind had let up.
Maybe by morning. We'll try again tomorrow. It was cold that night, and somehow colder because Alan was gone. I heard Frank tossing around, and I knew he was thinking about a body broken and lonely, lost somewhere in a deep and dark place. In the morning, the 3 of us packed our gear, camera, food. It was a light pack, and we started up again. This time to a crest above the ridge. It was tougher than it looked, and we weren't even halfway up before we had to rest. And as I looked to the west, I saw clouds boiling up. Not white, but somber, threatening. And below, the valley looked grim, ugly gray. And then the sun was gone. And we kept on going up. And then I had a strange feeling. It was nothing I could see, nothing I could hear, only a sensation of being watched, followed. Wait a minute.
See something?
No.
I have felt it too, Sahib.
Something following us?
Yes. It is Metokangmi.
How do you know?
It can be nothing else. At this height, there is nothing else that lives.
Maybe it's curious. No, don't turn around, Frank. Listen. When we get up to the crest, you 2 flop down. Stay in sight of the slope here.
What are you going to do?
Move around the hump and watch. If it thinks we're all together, it may come close enough to give us a chance to get it.
You better watch your step. It looks nasty.
I will. Now, come on. It took us another 15 minutes to get up to the crest, and then Frank and Nassang hunched down to rest. They were in clear view of the slope we just ascended. I moved back out of sight and made my way toward the hump, which backed a long shelf on the north side of the crest. In a couple of minutes, I lost sight of them and of the slope. The wind had increased, and the clouds had spread now to become an iron gray canopy over the mountain. It was getting colder again. I don't think it took over 5 minutes to reach my lookout point. And when I did, I had a perfect view of the ground we'd covered. There was nothing there. The men were out of sight. And I waited. A minute. 2. There was nothing. Until... It came, carried on the wind, a cry and then shots. I scrambled back to where I'd left them. And when I got there, Frank was lying on his back, and I couldn't look at what was left of his face. There were terrible deep rents in his clothing, and he was dead. Nasang lay huddled a few feet beyond, a gun in his hand.
Sahib.
What is it? What?
Metukangmi. It came from behind us. Before I could draw the gun, it killed, and it sprang at me. It is strong, Sahib, with the strength of 10 men.
All right, can you sit up?
My leg, it struck at me, my leg broken. I shot at it, but I missed. It jumped away and was gone.
Okay. We'll have to figure out a way to get you down. We were 4 hours from camp, and with Nasang practically helpless, it could well be 4 days or never. I buried Frank where he was lying, then began to work down the slope. Nasang was in great pain. He half slid and crawled as best he could. That part of it wasn't too bad. Then we were at the bottom, and there was a ledge to climb. It took well over 2 hours to do that, and we still had 3 miles of difficult terrain to cover. The stops became more frequent.
Sahib, leave me here. Go back.
No.
My leg is frozen. There is no feeling anymore. I shall not live much longer.
Don't be a fool. After a rest, you'll be able to go on.
Soon the night comes. If we are both caught here, we both die. There will be snow, much snow. Leave me, Sahib.
No, we're going back together.
Please, let me sleep. Let me sleep here. I cannot go on.
You've got to, Nasang.
No more.
The ridge is only about a half mile from there. It won't be too bad.
No, let me stay.
Nasang.
Let me sleep.
No, come on, Nasang. Come on, you're not going to sleep.
Sahib,
You'll be all right.
Behind you, Sahib.
I turned, and for an instant I saw it outlined against the snow, crouching, of medium height. It was covered with thick hair. The face was reddish and bare, a semi-human face, and it was not an ape. The thing made a tremendous leap and was gone, but I'd hit it. I knew I hit it.
Takangmi, that was he. Did you kill it?
No, I don't think so.
Then it will be back. It has tasted blood. You must leave me.
No, get up. Get up, come on. Let's go. Nasang!
I am very sorry, Sahib. Will you ask the Lama to make a prayer for me?
Sure I will, Nasang, but...
Give my pay to my wife in Darjeeling. I'm sorry, Sahib. I die.
Nasang? And the darkness came, and with it shadows and the snow. Every hillock, mound became the thing, motionless, waiting. In my mind, I kept seeing it, its long arms, powerful, and the dreadful claws it must have possessed. I carried my gun in my gloved hand, but I knew that I couldn't fire it unless I was barehanded. And that meant my hand would freeze to the gun. And then suddenly I felt myself slipping. It was a short incline, but when I reached the bottom, the gun was gone. I'd lost it. I've got to find it. I've got to find it. And I saw a glint of metal in the snow 10 feet away. And at the same time, above me at the top of the bank, the thing. It stood swaying a little, looking down at me. I moved slowly, slowly inch my way toward the gun. And as I drew closer, I kept my eyes looking up. But it didn't move, only stared down at me. And I thought I saw its little eyes glittering. And I thought, if the gun's frozen now, if it's frozen, it doesn't fire. And I was nearer to it, near enough to take off my glove. But that moment in which I'd have to bend to pick it up, that's when it would leap down at me, tear my throat out, tear, and I had the gun and I pulled the trigger. And it lay there, strange and terrifying, its blood staining the snow. And it looked at me. Looked at me until the sound died away. It was dead, but the eyes kept on staring. It must have been the shots that loosened the snow and ice on the ridge above. I heard the sound, and I ran. It passed me and swept on down toward the valley, the thunder of it dying in the distance. And when I went back, there was nothing there. It was buried somewhere under tons of snow. I made my way back to the Wrong Book Village. I don't remember how. I didn't remember anything for 2 weeks after. But I'm alive. And I'm not going back there again. That's all I know. Or want to know about the Abominable Snowman.
Escape has brought you The Abominable Snowman, written and directed by Anthony Ellis, starring William Conrad as Lane. Featured in the cast were Anthony Barrett, Hy Averback, Jack Crucian, and Edgar Barrier. The special music for Escape was composed and conducted by Leith Stevens.